My name is Josh Robinson. 2 years ago, I bought this old modern house and I've been restoring it since then. Last night, I realized that I hadn't been documenting much of it at all. Tonight, I've decided to change that. This is the house, and the community is called Sunset Lanes. What'd you get, Brett? Nice. So, we've had a fair amount of things happening around here over the last 6 months since the last episode. And I've had a lot of fans reaching out and asking, where's the next episode? Where's the next episode? I actually had an accident at the end of last fall and ended up getting a pretty good concussion from it. I'm making a good recovery. Most people come back from those pretty quickly. I'm not one of those people. But I am doing very well again, and as part of my PT, that involves getting back to doing the things that I do. One of them is the house. So over the last couple months, I've been ramping up activities again and finally feeling good enough to start doing shows. And I'm excited to share with you what we've gotten accomplished in the last few months. These stoops at both the front door and at the courtyard door off of the living room. Got both of those in. 8-inch step coming down out of the door, which is what the original step was. And then there'll be another 8-inch step here once we finally get the sidewalk poured and the patios and all those kinds of things. But it was really wonderful to finally get the construction ramp out of here. What I did was essentially a sort of like a Nelson slap bench kind of thing. It was popular in the period. The original stoops were concrete, but I'm trying not to pour a whole bunch of concrete on highly expansive soils that then move. So I thought this was sort of an elegant solution. 2x6s and 2x4s stood on end with a 3/8 inch gap. And again, here at the courtyard door, the same thing, just the 2x stood on end with a 3/8 inch gap. An 8-inch step there at the door, and again it'll be a final 8-inch step here down to the patio that'll be out here. And of course, we got all the pavers out of here. So a sea of pavers had to be removed. I was lucky that I actually got some help on that, and they're all off. It will be installed by somebody else, of course, in other people's patios and driveways and things like that. I was just happy to finally get them all off my hands. And of course, when those pavers went, all of these other pavers went that we had stacked up back here in the back. So a mountain of pavers. It ended up being about, I'd say, 4 large truckloads of pavers actually came out of here. Thousands of pavers. Lots of pavers. And like I say, they all went to a new and good home. Along with the pavers getting out of here, also the dump. And we're starting to fill in, and eventually we'll be doing grading later this summer. So regrading the rest of the lot and redoing the fence lines. Over in this corner is more of the same. So we got the fences out that we didn't want here anymore. We're back to the late 50s, 60s chain link, which we're going to be actually installing some more of. So this long property boundary here will go back to a steel chain link fence. But another thing that we found that was sort of interesting is the sidewalk. So this ran all the way from the front door down the edge of the lot to an incinerator, which I'm hoping to find an old incinerator or something to program this sidewalk again. The upper portion of it is cracked up. We're going to end up repaving it. But the bottom portion, including the stair, is in pretty nice shape. I'm excited to get these things coming back together. So now, all of a sudden, this lawn, which is rather large, really starts to become a space. So one of the other things we've been working on here is redoing the lower level windows. So a lot of the window wells had sunk in over the last 70 years. So digging these things out, restoring the actual units is the next thing that we're going to be working on. I've already got all of them dug out, and that was actually kind of a Herculean feat. The majority of the soil here is clay, so it was a real pain in the neck getting these things out. And after they had sunken, some of them had sunken down 2 feet. So having to dig down 3 feet through the clay was a real bear just to get them out. But you can see they start to come together pretty nicely. Now this one I haven't set the new window well yet, but got the putty redone on the glazing. Had the paint matched by Sherwin-Williams, of course, to match the original color that they were. They were painted this sort of putty color, which matches very nicely with the concrete. So it's really nice to have those complete. I'm looking forward to getting that done, and then we can get the window wells back in place and start playing with the final grading around the house. So that's what we've got going on outside right now. Aside from that, I think it's probably worth showing you exactly what we're planning to do. So I'm hoping that by the end of this summer, we can get at least phase 1 of the landscape done, which involves really just walls, walkways, driveway, patios, all those kinds of things, which I think that we can. So to walk through exactly what we'll be working on this summer as far as landscape and where things go and all this kind of thing. This is the overall site plan. So here's the house here. The neighbors' houses on either side, and you can see what the general idea is. So essentially, driveway will come in, and that'll remain, or that will actually be a gravel driveway. We'll pull the walk back in. We've got a patio back here at the rear of the carport, a little cutout in it. A sidewalk that comes around to the courtyard door and over to a patio. We'll be rebuilding the breeze block. It's probably going to end up being a siding wall. Same material as the exterior of the building, same color, all that kind of thing. The garden wall out in the front will be landscaping between the two houses here. And then my phase 2 will actually be doing a 2-car carport in the rear as an addition with a studio, all in the same language of the original house. And what that starts to look like here in perspective is this. And you can see the original house here complete with a garden wall out in front, redoing the breeze block as more wall materials and siding, paint to match, all that kind of thing. Informing a patio over here with a connection to the entrance sidewalk, the new driveway coming in, pulling this atrium planting out into the environment and really just bringing the grid of the house further out into the site. And then my phase 2 of the landscape, which is probably, I would say it's probably next summer, is doing the shop and the additional carport. So the original house, this drawing taken from the other lot side, you can see replacing the lot line fences with chain link, some garden walls happening here, all in the siding material. And of course, this auto court is part of the second phase, which includes the studio addition, 2-car carport, which is just for classic cars, an auto court back here, some plantings and an atrium, really is a hyphen between the original building and the new building. It'll have everything will match, the windows will match, the grid of the house will match, all the same things. So I think it'll integrate really nicely into the building. You see how you actually just drive through the carport, over the patio, back at the back of the carport, and then swing in and park.